Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into something called value proposition design. It's basically a roadmap for making sure that the stuff you create, whether it's a product or a service, is something people will actually line up to buy.
So let's just start with the question that probably keeps a lot of creators and entrepreneurs up at night, right? You get this amazing idea, you pour your time, your money, your heart into building it, and then you launch it, and nothing. It's a super painful story, and it's way too common. The good news is, the framework we're about to explore is designed to stop that from happening.
And this quote right here, man, it just perfectly sums up the whole thing. It's a bit harsh, but it's the absolute truth. It doesn't matter how brilliant you think your idea is. At the end of the day, the customer gets the final say. And believe me, they will be merciless if you don't nail it.
So, why do they fail? Well, it's usually not because the idea itself was bad or the product was poorly built. The real killer, most of the time, is this massive disconnect between that great idea and a real actual customer need. And that disconnect, it has a name. It's a lack of fit. You're going to hear that word a lot. Fit is the absolute #1 thing you need for a successful value proposition. It's like this magic bridge between what you're offering and what your customers are desperately looking for. Getting that fit, well, that's the whole game.
All right, so how in the world do we find this elusive fit? Well, the answer lies in a really cool tool called the Value Proposition Canvas. And here's the key. It all starts by taking your brilliant idea, putting it on a shelf for a minute, and focusing 100% on just deeply understanding your customer.
This right here is the customer profile. And I want you to think of this circle as a complete map of your customer's reality. We're not talking about demographics here, not their age or where they live. We're talking about what they're actually trying to get done, what frustrates them, and what a win really looks like in their world.
So first up in that profile are customer jobs. These are the things they're trying to accomplish in their work or in their life. And this is a really important point. It's not just about functional jobs, like, say, installing a light fixture. It's also about social jobs, like looking smart in a meeting, or even emotional jobs, like feeling secure about my family's future.
Okay, next, we map out their pains. This is all the stuff that drives them crazy before, during, or after they try to get a job done. Think about the roadblocks, the risks they worry about, the frustrations, any bad outcome they're actively trying to avoid.
And to complete the circle, we look at their gains. These are the positive results and benefits your customers are hoping for. Now, some gains are just expected, right? Like you expect your new phone to make calls. But the really exciting ones are the unexpected gains, the little things that go above and beyond and totally delight them. That's where you can really win.
All right, so we've spent all this time inside our customer's head mapping out their world. Now we can finally turn the spotlight back onto our solution. This brings us to the other half of the canvas, the value map.
And here it is, the value map, represented by this square. So if the circle is about observing the customer's reality, the square is about designing your place in that reality. This is where you get to be creative and outline how you're going to create value for them.
The starting point here is pretty straightforward. It's just a list of your products and services. Everything you plan to offer. It could be a physical gadget, a piece of software, a consulting service, whatever it is. This is the what you're selling.
But here's where it gets really powerful. We connect it back. Pain relievers describe exactly how your products and services are going to ease those specific customer pains we uncovered earlier. You're literally drawing a straight line from their biggest headache to your specific solution.
And it's the same idea for gain creators. These describe how your product will create the results and benefits your customers are hoping for. And here's a pro tip. The best companies don't try to address every single gain. They pick the ones that matter most to customers, and then they absolutely knock it out of the park. Okay, so we have the customer's world captured in the circle, and we have our product's value outlined in the square. Now comes the moment of truth. We bring them together. This is where the magic happens. This is the hunt for fit.
So what is fit? Well, here it is. You achieve fit when your customers get genuinely excited about your offer. It's that aha moment when they see that you can help them with an important job, crush one of their worst pains, or create a gain they've always wanted. It's when your square clicks perfectly into their circle.
And this visual just makes it so clear. You know you've found fit when your pain relievers over here on the right are a direct answer to the customer pains on the left, and when your gain creators deliver exactly the kind of outcomes they're dreaming of. It's a perfect one-to-one match.
But it's important to know that fit isn't just a single event. It's not like you just flip a switch. It's more like a journey, a process of leveling up. First, you get problem-solution fit. That's on paper, when you have proof that customers actually care about the problems you think they have. Then, you find product-market fit. That's out in the real world, when people start actually buying your thing. And finally, you have to find a business model fit, which is when you figure out how to make money and scale the whole thing.
Now, this whole journey to find fit, it doesn't happen by accident. You don't just get lucky. It's the result of a very deliberate, almost scientific process. You don't guess, you design, you test, and then you do it all over again.
And this is the loop that gets you there. You start by building quick and dirty prototypes of your idea. Then, and this is crucial, you get out of the building and test those ideas with real people to see what they think. You listen carefully and learn from their feedback. And then, most importantly, you go back and refine your idea based on what you just learned. You iterate.
This right here really captures the whole mindset. The search for a killer value proposition is not about being some kind of genius who gets it perfect on day one. It's about being a scientist. The goal is to learn as fast as possible by failing, but failing early, failing often, and most importantly, failing cheaply.
So, let's bring it all home. What are the big takeaways? Number 1, just stop building stuff nobody wants. It starts by forgetting your solution and diving deep into your customer's world. Then you systematically use the value map to design something that actually matches their needs. And finally, remember that finding that perfect fit isn't a single event. It's a constant cycle of designing, testing, and repeating.
And that leaves me with one final thought. A challenge, really. Whether you're working on a huge new business or just a tiny new feature, ask yourself this. What is the single biggest, riskiest assumption you are making about your customer right now that you could find a quick, cheap way to go out and test tomorrow?